What if I told you there's a psychological emergency mechanism built into your psyche? A process that forces a creative third solution when your conscious mind and your unconscious are locked in a death grip. A battle of irreconcilable conflict. Carl Jung called this the Transcendent Function. In one sentence, it's the psyche's way of birthing a new personality directly out of deadlock. It's not about compromise. It's about creation. Most of us spend our lives avoiding conflict, especially internal conflict. When faced with two opposing truths, we instinctively choose one and suppress the other. Order versus chaos, the persona you show the world versus your hidden shadow, logic versus emotion. We pick a side to find relief. But the path to true growth, according to Jung, requires the opposite. It demands a voluntary crucifixion. You must deliberately hold both mutually annihilating truths at the same time, feeling the full force of their opposition pulling you apart without collapsing into the comfort of a one-sided view. While most people flee this agonizing tension, the initiate, the one seeking wholeness, crucifies themselves upon it. Jung used an alchemical metaphor for this process. The vas bene clausum, the well-sealed vessel. Your own consciousness, your skull, becomes the alchemical retort. Inside, you place the boiling, warring opposites. You seal the container, meaning there is no escape, no distractions, no easy answers, no premature resolutions. Your ego will scream for relief, begging you to just make a decision to end the pain. But your deeper self, the totality of your personality, demands that you endure the heat. You must stay in the fire until the pressure and temperature become so immense that something entirely new precipitates from the chaos. This process isn't pleasant. It requires a death before there can be a rebirth. The old one-sided personality, the ego identity that clings to certainty, must dissolve in the tension. This dissolution can feel like madness. It can manifest as suicidal thoughts, a sense of being possessed, or a complete loss of meaning. This is what the alchemists called the Negredo stage, the blackening, the despair, the dark night of the soul. It's a terrifying state of utter surrender, where you let go of all control. And it is only from this point of total surrender, when the ego gives up its fight, that the transcendent function can finally activate. When it does, something emerges. Out of the wreckage of the old conflict, a new thing rises. It might be a potent symbol in a dream, a vivid image in your mind's eye, a sudden, profound insight, or a new course of action that you simply know is right. This emergent third is not a logical compromise between the two opposites. It isn't thesis plus antithesis equals synthesis. It is something wholly new, often appearing irrational or paradoxical, yet it carries the undeniable weight of truth. Jung said it feels like divine intervention because, in a way, it is. It is the voice of the self, the guiding intelligence of your total psyche, finally breaking through the noise of the ego. So how do you trigger this? Jung developed a technique he called active imagination. It's a method for intentionally engaging the tension. You start by consciously writing down your position on the conflict, the ego's stance. Then, you deliberately invite the unconscious to answer. You let it speak through fantasy, through automatic drawing or painting, or by having a written dialogue with a figure from your imagination. The key is to refuse all censorship. You let the darkest, strangest, most uncomfortable material come to the surface. Then, you don't resolve it. You carry that tension with you. You hold the conscious position and the unconscious answer together, sometimes for days or weeks. The transcendent function detonates when you finally stop trying to force an outcome. History is filled with examples of these transcendent breakthroughs. Think of Newton, sitting under the apple tree. It wasn't just logic. It was a fusion of his rational, scientific mind with a dreamlike, intuitive vision that gave birth to the theory of gravity. Think of the chemist Kekulé, who struggled with the structure of the benzene molecule. He dreamed of an Ouroboros, a snake biting its own tail, and awoke with a revolutionary insight of the benzene ring. Rational chemistry collided with a primal, unconscious symbol. Every genuine religious conversion, every moment of creative genius that Jung studied, bore the hallmarks of this same process. A period of intense, unbearable conflict followed by a sudden, life-altering revelation. But there's a critical danger here, what Jung called the monopersonality. After your first experience with the transcendent function, the power is intoxicating. You've touched something divine. The ego, ever the opportunist, can get massively inflated. It develops a God complex, believing it now controls this sacred process. You think, I did that. I can do it again. You are wrong. The moment you believe you are the master of this function, you set yourself up for a fall. The self will not be commanded. If you don't approach it with humility the next time, the process will control you, and not in a pleasant way. Jordan Peterson offers a modern translation of this idea. He would say, hold the damn tension until meaning is forced out of chaos. It's about voluntary exposure to the unknown, confronting what you fear and don't understand, while absolutely refusing to lie to yourself or take the easy way out. That combination of courage and radical honesty is the practical application of the transcendent function in everyday life. It's how you navigate the complexities of your career, your relationships, and your own soul. But what happens when it fails? This is the ultimate horror, and some people get stuck in the crucible forever. They enter the tension, but the ego is too rigid, too afraid to truly surrender. The opposites never reconcile. Instead, they calcify into a permanent state of internal war. This is the root of deep-seated neuroses, crippling addiction, or even psychosis. The transcendent function fails when the ego secretly chooses one side but pretends the conflict is still open. It's a profound act of self-deceit where you claim to be enduring the tension, but you've already decided on the outcome. The vessel isn't sealed, it's leaking, and the alchemical process is aborted. And this leads to the final, unbreakable law of this process. You do not operate the transcendent function. You survive it. If you are lucky, and if you are brave, you survive it. And if you survive it often enough, you begin to change fundamentally. You stop being just a person, a collection of biographical data and personal preferences, and you become something more. You become a conduit for something ancient and powerful that needed your specific life, your specific suffering, to find a voice in the world again. Most people will never dare to enter this tension. They live and die in the safety of one-sidedness, but the few who do are never the same. And that for Zhang was the true definition of success. Not wealth, not status, but the courage to become a vessel for the divine. Thanks for watching.